Hey everyone, welcome to the Basketball and Beer Podcast, where we talk NBA basketball, drink craft beer, with a special focus on the Chicago Bulls because that's my team. So today we are going to talk about Zion's injury. We're going to talk about guys going into restricted free agency who are negotiating deals with their teams. Buddy Hield, Siakam from Toronto, and Domantas Sabonis on the Pacers. And then we're going to touch on Bulls topics as well. Coby's preseason, Lauri, and if they should be considering trading him or not even talking about it yet, and the Bulls opener. So those are a few things we're going to touch on. Make sure to go ahead and hit subscribe if you like talking basketball and if you like drinking beer. Although that doesn't really matter, I'm going to crack one open. This is called a 1881 Porter beer by Zyweek Recipe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I love porters. This looked like a good one to me. I got it from Benny's, and it is 9.5% alcohol by volume, so I'm going to enjoy this right now. All right, so jumping right into it, let's start with Zion Williamson. It's happened, right? Everyone's been saying at his weight, he's going to get injured. It's only a matter of time. You can't play at that weight and move the way that he does. That's what people have been saying, and sure enough, it's happened. He tweaked his knee. We don't know exactly what it is. The team's kept it kind of quiet, but there's been talk about it being his meniscus. Either way, it sounds like he's going to be out at least a week of the regular season, possibly a little bit longer. And this is what everyone was afraid of. So what do you think? Are they making a bigger deal out of this than they need to, or is this a huge deal? For me, I think that, yeah, it matters. It's kind of a wake-up call to him that he probably should cut at least 15 pounds or so, and that's on the light side, but he's going to be just as powerful as he is already. If he loses 15 pounds, he's not going to lose anything. He's just going to help his chances of staying healthy. Now, I tend to think people are kind of overblowing it a little bit. To my knowledge, he's been relatively healthy throughout his career, so I don't think we need to go crazy. Let's take a wait-and-see approach and see how things play out. You know, he might be back in a couple weeks, play every other game from there on out, and, you know, we won't be talking about it much anymore. If he suffers another injury or this is a lingering situation throughout the season, then you're gonna be hearing about it on ESPN every single day because it's gonna be an issue because of the hype around him and the potential and what people expect to see from him. People are hoping that he's gonna be healthy because he's a dynamic player to watch, and we all want to be able to enjoy that. So let's hope that Zion maybe cuts a little bit of weight and gets out there and he keeps being Zion. Next topic I wanted to talk about, a few of the players that are going into restricted free agency, and teams are trying to lock them up on more team-friendly deals by, you know, sending them an offer before they have to. And from the players' perspective, they're looking at teams who are going to have cap money going into free agency where they might get offered the max from another team and they want their money now. So those players are Siakam from Toronto. He just got locked up and agreed to a deal, so he's going to be making $130 million over 4 years. That's a max contract. I think he deserves it. You know, Toronto won the championship last year, which was great for the city. They lost Kawhi, as we all know, and now that's their stud. You know, they still have Kyle Lauri, but he's been a good player for them for a while, but Siakam is their guy, and that's who they're hoping is going to be their franchise player moving forward. So I think it was a relatively easy decision for them to go ahead and lock him up. But guys like Buddy Hield and Domantas Sabonis, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Those guys are both very, very solid basketball players. Buddy Hield is one of the better three-point shooters in the entire NBA, and he can light it up. He's a great scorer, and he's looking for $110 million over 4 years. His team came in and offered $90 or $92 million over 4. So from Buddy's perspective, he thinks if he balls out this year like he did last year, somebody's going to offer him a max contract and they're going to have to match or let him walk. And from the team's perspective, they're trying to lock him up on a team-friendly deal because they've got other studs on that team that they're going to have to pay big money as well. Marvin Bagley, they're going to be very invested in him. And their point guard, I'm drawing a blank right now. It'll come to me, but you know who I'm talking about. He's a stud as well. De'Aaron Fox. He's a killer, and they're going to have to lock him up. They already paid Harrison Barnes big money. He's making he got locked up for like $84 million or something like that. So they're regretting that a bit, and that's why they're being cautious and not just throwing $110 million at Buddy Hield, despite the fact that there's a good chance he's going to get it from somebody. We'll see where that plays out. I think 4 years, $100 million would be a fair meeting point for both of them, but we'll see what happens. It sounds like Buddy Hield wants that $110 million, and if he doesn't get it, he's going to see who will give it to him. Now, the Pacers with Sabonis, he wants some big money, and they're already looking at possibly trading him. From what we're hearing is teams are calling on him, and they're calling teams to try and figure out if he wants more money than we're willing to pay, let's get something for him now. And I think that's a smart tactic to take. Every situation is unique to the team, and they have to weigh the pros and the cons of how to move forward. But that's where they're at with him, and again, we'll see how that plays out. But I think he's getting traded, and we'll see what happens. But I think that might be the right move, despite him being a good player. He's not a max guy, I don't think. And if a guy wants max money and you don't see him as a max guy, get some value out of it. So that's where they're at. Going into some Bulls topics now. I feel like I'm Coby White's number one fan here because I've been talking him up on the first couple of podcasts here, but he's living up to expectations and surpassing them. He had a great preseason. Preseason's done now, and he finished preseason averaging 19 points and 4 rebounds, which is, I think, the highest in the past 20 years of any player on the Bulls for a rookie since they've been recording it. He's been killing it, but a couple of important points for him. We all knew he could score the basketball. Summer League people were questioning his shooting because he didn't put up a very good percentage, but for preseason, Coby shot 43% from behind the arc. So not only was he taking a lot of shots, he was connecting on a good percentage of them. So 43% from the three-point line is terrific. If he can do that for the full season, we're in good shape. And his defense. Everyone talks about his scoring, but I don't know what rating system was used, but I saw somewhere that he was the Bulls' 4th best defender over preseason. The only guys that ranked ahead of him were Wendell Carter Jr., Thad, and Sato, and Coby was number 4. So if he can put up those kind of scoring numbers, coming off the bench, play great defense, he's going to find himself in the end of the game, I think, more frequently than not. So can't say enough good things about him. Bulls were fun to watch in the preseason. They shot a lot of three-pointers. They moved the ball well, and they're fun to watch. So I'm pumped about that. We've had some seasons that have been just a drag to watch. And as a diehard Bulls fan, you watch them, but it's kind of painful sometimes. Looks like we're going to have a fun team to watch that will be fighting for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. So I look forward to that. Somebody brought up on the Bulls Real GM forum, do we look to trade Lauri? And the person who posted it, a lot of people kind of hated on him, but I thought it was a good topic of discussion. Now, I'd say it's too early. You can't give up on Lauri at this point, especially since we don't know what kind of money he's even going to be looking to sign or what the market will be for him. But he's a good player, and he can hit a three-pointer with ease when he's taking good shots and not rushing them. It's just a matter of, who is he going to be for us? We touched on it the last podcast, but that's what this season is for. Too early to ask, should we look at trade him? No, not right now. Our team looks like they have good chemistry. He could be a big piece of that. Let's see how he does in the regular season. and we'll go from there. Next year, maybe if he just has if he does more of the same, where he has a couple great months and then games where he doesn't show up at all, then next year is going to be the time where we are going to have to look at, should we start looking to trade him and get some value, or is it going to be worth it locking him up as part of our core going forward? This year will tell us the answer to that question. All right, in closing, Bulls opener is October 23rd. We play the Hornets, and I can say for the first time, hopefully I'm not wrong on this, but for the first time I'm at least anticipating the Bulls to blow them out. That's not something we've been able to say the past couple years. I expect the Bulls to not only win, but to blow this team out. I think that the Bulls should win this game by like 16 to 20 points. And that's what I'm hoping and expecting to see. If they win, I'll be happy, but I really think that they need to show that they can beat a weak team like the Hornets by double digits. So I really look forward to watching that. I'm excited, and I think they're going to do big things this season. Playoff bound, I believe. So I'm excited. I hope you are as well. Go ahead, take a moment with me, take a nice deep breath, and take a moment to just feel grateful for whatever you have in your life to be grateful for. Gratitude is an important practice. I'm grateful for my family, my friends, my home and my health, and so much more. Thank you for watching. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about Zion and his injury, about the Bulls. Are they going to make the playoffs, or are we going to miss it? What's your opinion on, should you try and lock a guy up going into restricted free agency, or take a wait-and-see approach? Any other topics you'd like to discuss or hear me discuss, feel free to throw out on the comments, and I'll consider talking about it on the next podcast. Until then, beer is good, basketball is great, but what really matters is treating people right. Be kind, be you, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that bell so you get notifications so we can continue talking basketball. I'm Brennan O'Connor. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.